hide the disappointment today. I mean, very, very difficult to take. Good performance Saturday, great performance Tuesday night, and today, well, just weren't at the races.
That's football for you, and that's exactly why we're where we are. You know, that lack of consistency again, innit? I thought the first 10 minutes, I thought was excellent. You know, we started off, you know, we said, well, got a free kick within the first 30 seconds. We talk about having quality, and right from the off, and that's what we had. Great delivery by Tips, and you know, and a great header by calling you 1-0 up. And for the next 10 minutes, we was absolutely flying. Yep. You know, and they couldn't get their half. And you know, you think, Christ, we're going to get a second one now. You know, in this good spell, we could go on and win the game quite comfortably. But then all of a sudden, people start doing different things because I think what it was, I think it became too easy for us. And all of a sudden, people wanted extra touches. People wanted, instead of doing the usual ball, they want to try and instead of hitting the barn door, all of a sudden, want to start hitting the keyhole. You know, and we've done that, kept giving the ball away, give them a lift, and then the longer it went on, and they got more possession, it gave them a lot more confidence with the ball, and then they got their equaliser. You know, poor defending. And the lad finished it well, good strike. And we're coming at half time, you know, 1-1. And you know, I spoke to lads about, you know, our decision making, you know, was poor. You know, the last half an hour, you know, decision making, our quality, you know, there was a big lack of quality. You know, kept giving the ball away. They was getting a lot of the ball. And then we started out the second half. And to be honest with you, I knew at half time we'd struggle today. And I said to the boys, this change room's a lot different to the change room at half time last week. It's a lot different to the change room at half time on Tuesday night. You know, there was a couple of people saying little chats and that, people didn't look really with it. And that's what I mean, it's very easy to raise yourself for the big games. If you can't go to Kingstonian and raise your game, there's a problem. If you can't go to Bromley in a semi-final of a Kent Senior Cup and not raise your game, then there's a problem. Where the problem is again, you know, you come today, a team that we could have gone level on points with, you know, and drawn them into us, you know, a little bit. And what we've done, we've given the chance away, put in a sloppy performance, and you know, a performance I felt lacked quality. You know, the decision making was poor. The endeavour that we've spoken about the last couple of games wasn't there. There was people running around like headless chickens. You know, and you get away with that in the reserves, and you get away with that in the pub sides, and everything. You get away with it at this level, up against good players, and they come off and they think they've worked hard and all that. They ain't working hard. That's just running around like an headless chicken without a clue. And you know, and they're experienced players. You know what I'm talking about. And then, you know, and then when you look at it, you know, the decision making's poor. You know, as in, like, you know, we pushed Cams up for the last couple of minutes just to have the big man. And then what do? We want to start knocking the ball around at the back. Well, we haven't knocked the ball around for about an hour, so why have we started now? And you know, but then we get the lift, don't we? You know, with the penalty, sending off penalty, 10 penalties we've missed this year. You know, it's embarrassing. You know, and I'm embarrassed for the football club, to be honest with you, that it's like that. You know, and you know, the keeper was already laying down. You know, it's a shocking miss. Yeah. And you know, but you shouldn't be going for a season missing 10 penalties. And when you think over the season, how many points them penalties have cost us, you know, is unbelievable. And it's not as though like one or two people having them. You know, I mean, we've had 6 different penalty takers this year. Yeah. And but you know, but there's nothing as a manager you can do about that while you're out when you're standing on the touchline.
I agree, Mark. Obviously, a lot of supporters gone home disappointed today. After the first 15 minutes, it looked like we were going to win the game, as you quite rightly said. And they've gone out there asking questions, and one of the questions is, you know, we're at home and we've gone with 1 up front. Surely we should play with 2 up front.
No. Today I've had to do that because Pulley was struggling. You know, Pulley done well to make the bench. You know, so and with John Neal leaving, we're a bit like, you know, a bit lightweight up top. You know, so we went with that, and you know, and it's very easy for people to turn around and ask, oh, we've only gone 1 up front. When we was 1-0 up, first 15 minutes, was anyone questioning it? Everyone was going, oh, what a good team selection. You know, and at the end of the day, you know, there was good enough players out there. You're not telling me that people can question that when I'm bringing in the likes of Tom Parker, Liam Quinn for today's game. You know, Dan Whiskers come in. You know, they're good players in their own right. So that didn't weaken the side. You know, and what it did was it all changed because we started giving the ball away and because we're inconsistent. Formation's got nothing to do with it. The formation was good enough to win that game. You know, and people go on about this 4-5-1 and that. We won a lot of big games with 4-5-1. You know, when we had to play it. And at the end of the day, I had to play that today because Pulley's injury, he couldn't have got through 90 minutes. And to be honest with you, even when he come on, he looked like he was still carrying the injury. He did. So, you know, as a manager, your hands are tied. You know, you know, if any supporters out there have got any answers to that, then answers on a postcard.
Well, thanks for being honest with me as ever. Just a quick word about the upcoming games now. We've got 2 games left at home, I believe.
Yep.
Bank holiday coming up. Important couple of games in a couple of days.
Well, it is, and I've said to the players before the game today, you know, Tuesday's win should have been great for me, and the fact that it gives 3 games people got to, you know, play for a shirt for the final. But it didn't look like it was to me. Looked like a few of the players weren't too worried about that today. You know, and yeah, we've got a tough weekend next weekend. We've got Fleet who are going for the title away. That's going to be a tough place. Then obviously Sittingbourne at home. You know, a local derby, and they're going for the playoffs. So it's going to be a tough weekend. But you know, we'll raise ourselves in games because, as I said, we always seem to raise ourselves for the big games. But you know, but then, like I say, that's why we're where we are in the league. We have that lack of consistency. Ability-wise, we can beat anyone in the league. Consistency-wise, we're where we should be.
All right, Mark. Well, enjoy the rest of the evening. I know that you were without Simon and Mark today, and well, good luck for next week, mate.
Cheers, Tony. Thanks so much. Cheers.